And welcome back to Metropole Sports Center. My name is Nashon Oano. We're still continuing our conversation on the future of sports beyond COVID-19. And just before we took a break, we had pieces of information from Gobinath, Derek, Maria, and Kenaz. Now, back to you, Umair. You are in a space that is not really filled with a lot of people. In terms of, maybe you could paint to us the actual challenges that you faced in the process of trying to empower people through sports, and also talk to us about what is the future of sports. What role does sports play within that space beyond COVID-19?
I think one of the big challenge is to convince parents that their children should participate in sports, because here we have a big competition of education and they just want their kids to learn science and things related to that. They don't want them to practice sports. So that's a big challenge to convince them. And also, if I go to vulnerable communities, some of the communities are even not getting education. There, it's easy to interact with them, but at the same time, can convince to change their behavior, to change their moral values, challenge. But the idea of sports for development is to thematic and it in such situations to overcome the challenges. Also, economic challenge is a big issue. If you are just engaging people and they are not getting any economic benefits, and also if there is no career hopes in the sociology of sports, it's going to be a big challenge also in future, because even in professional sports, if athletes are not getting good earning, not getting good career, it's difficult to continue sports in developing countries. And moving on to the future, as Maria and Kenas said, of course it's going to be a new normal. And I had yesterday one of my friends, she was doing sports activities with children in Ecuador, but they were following SOPs. So I think we should think to resume sports with SOPs on the field, because that's the most effective way to do it. At the same time, as Sigo said, esports is good, online sessions are good, but maybe we need to think differently. Maybe we need to attach esports with activities. For example, we are talking online, so maybe people can do workout online together. So it will be more social as compared to individual. And if we there are some esports in which the physical activities are also involved. So we have to think more about that. We need to attach physical. We must face such pandemics in future. We can have more COVID situations. So we would be ready with, if we learn from the situation, we would be ready to handle anything in future. And I think that's.
Okay. Derek, a topical issue that has been going around over here in Kenya, there's been a lot of complaints from some of the athletes, some of the players, that the whole COVID or money that is supposed to cushion them against this COVID-19 has not been managed appropriately. Now, talking to you as a sporting administrator, and I think all of us will probably share with us what they think needs to be done. Because at the center of money, there's mismanagement, you know. So maybe talking as a sports administrator and over there, maybe you could share with us some of the things that are working for you at the Ugandan Swimming Federation and some of the things that are not working, and what we probably can do to ensure that we probably safeguard the life of everybody in sports.
You raise a very interesting point, I must admit, that there's mismanagement of funds here and there. Someone is making a penny or two for his or her interest, but I believe we need people of integrity in positions of power. It's as simple as that. If you don't have a person with no integrity, monies are going to be misappropriated. They're going to be channeled to other places. And it's not just Kenya. I think it happens in all the countries we come from and the rest of the world. But this goes down to because somebody lacks integrity. Because if you have integrity and a human side to you, why would you nick money that's not meant for you? Because somebody's putting in the hours, risking it all, giving it all to fly the Kenyan flag, the Uganda flag up there at the Olympics, to bring national pride to the millions of people he or she has left back home. So putting the right people in the right places, right? The right minds. If somebody's good at marketing, he should be there. Economics, he should be there, and so on and so forth. But so many a time we find people in the wrong places, right? And as Ken has earlier put here, is out here rescue the world, if I'm to put it that way, right? We're the ones that are going to change the narrative, and in years to come, the athletes' money was channeled to another area. Money has gone missing. No, it's going to be history, and it's going to start with the hundreds out. To me, we're going to put it sooner rather. You had at the end.
Okay. Gobinath, maybe you could share with us, what is it that is working for you guys in terms of management, especially now that you guys are getting into the Olympics mode right now. In terms of management, what is it that you can say is working for you guys in Sri Lanka, and what do you think is really working against you guys in terms of sports management?
Sri Lanka, I would say, like corruption, so anything that's obvious everywhere. But because of the education level, I would say, maybe their lack of knowledge, lack of education level, there are a lot of mismanagement things are happening. Right? That's the most important things, because of they are not in an effective way to manage the fundings that they are coming from the several NGOs around the world. I don't want to name them, right? So if they put the athletes or the sport managers, the officials in the proper way, like always the favorism is there, and they even, like the administrators, even without the single diploma qualifications, there are so many administrators appointed in several sports national bodies, how they have been appointed, right? So like these are the smart questions that we can ask, but the thing is, education must be there in place. Like then only we can talk about all the things, because the staff, those who are working at the national top level organization, have a proper education system, how they are going to manage the system, and how they are going to deal, how they are dealing with the international federations or maybe the international other organization. That's the big questions, because soon after I came from South Korea, after my Dream Together master degree program, I faced a lot of challenges. Like when I came here, because I had some small, maybe like short period of experience with the World Taekwondo, where I was doing my internship. So even when I was there in the World Taekwondo, like I tried to do some project with the local community here. Even you can't imagine, I was there to support Sri Lanka, but they were reluctant to take the project. I'm the one like always pushing. Even World Taekwondo also said that, hey, Sigo, like, are they really want to do that? And I said, no, I'm here in the world, I can do something. But the thing is, come on, money is coming to your country, you can do something. But the thing is, they don't know how to implement, how to use the money. But if the money is coming straight away to the pocket, yes, they are ready to take that one. But if the money is going to the vulnerable group, or maybe the people with the disabilities or somewhere, they are not really wanted to. Like, the sports is actually, I would say, in Sri Lanka is centralized to Colombo or maybe Kandy district. So it should be decentralized. Actually, that report results came in the one of the National Olympic Academy session among the youth groups. They came up with the very good result of that one. This is not only in Sri Lanka, but also it's applicable, as far as I know, in the South Asian regions as well. So sports should be decentralized, and it should be everywhere. The fund should be distributed equally to all the regions, and the management stuff, it is not in place in Sri Lanka at all. And they are contacting the Premier League. Like, very recently, the Sri Lankan Cricket Premier League is also started. But how much it affects the people, just they are enjoying the sports, but how they are practicing the sports, that is not there in place. That is what, like, we have to think about. We have to revise it, and we have to give the opportunity all the people in Sri Lanka to take part in sports activities, not to just as a spectator from the home these days, because that sport, that is not the sports at all, but everyone should be as an active person in sports rather than the viewers.
Okay. Maria, Gobinath has mentioned a very important aspect that maybe I wanted you to talk more about, the issue of sports and education. You know, there's usually a perception that if you are doing sports, then there's only a certain point where you need to go. I think most recently now we are seeing athletes who are probably going back to school to probably continue their education, get their degrees, get their masters, and something of the sort of. I mean, what role does education play in improving sports in any part of the world? And how important is it for athletes to be educated? Even if it is not the usual school education, how important is education to athletes?
I mean, education, it's important for everyone. If we really want to get over this situation, we have to work on a whole nation level to to elevate our education level, to be more understanding and more abiding to rules that are there, that the government or international organization put in place for this humanity to benefit from and to get over the situation. But coming back to athletes and to their education, it's very important. First of all, so we have so many athletes who, after their career, it's very hard for them to do this transaction from an athlete to the job market or so to have a career. So educating them and taking this into consideration, we make this transition easier for them. Either if it's in the sports field or in whatever fields they feel themselves that they will excel in. So first of all, athletes with their education can represent their countries in a much better way. Athletes are not only with their successes, with their medals or so on, no, they have to show other aspects of their country, like how, I mean, the sports fields and show more than who's best in what sport. It shows what their nations are. It shows the level of education and how civic their nations are. So it's very important and crucial, the educational part of athletes and their entourage, to reflect this image of their nations and countries, and to elevate the humanity. Yeah.
Okay. Kenaz, a common problem that bedevils our sports over here is a lot of, how do you call it, tribalism or favoritism. I don't know whether the situation is the same over there in Ghana, and probably how has that affected the sporting leagues over there?
Okay, so let me pick something from Derek. You know, they talked about integrity and good management, and I think that it boils down to what we've talked about, within this short period, which is education. You know, integrity combined with good knowledge is equal to success. This is what I believe. And yes, we've had such accusations and all of that in the past, and we have thought. I mean, or it's clear that it stifles development and all of that. But one good thing for our food, they're beginning to take it seriously. Okay, so there is a channel for or to address such issues. So you have a list of things that you're supposed to do if you think that there's a situation like that. And I think that that is the way to go. But fundamentally, I think believe that we're in Ghana. I'm taking Ghana for example. We say we want to be as good as it gets, right? But when you look at all our universities, we have sports management programs in any of them. We do have sports science, and then I'm thinking, okay, so if there is the basic thing of management that will propel us to the point where we need the science to actually compete, is not in place, what is the use of science? And it shows we finished a sports science degree and there's nothing here for you to do. And I believe that we've got all the part, of course, the institution be there, it will not people these negative things. It's on the real questions.
Sorry, Kenaz, you're breaking up. I can't hear you clearly. Maybe if you could pick it up from there, Umair. I mean, there's the issue of favoritism and not having the qualified people. Are we ever going to end that whole conversation of favoritism in sports?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, Umair. I was asking, the whole issue of favoritism and having people that are not qualified for those positions is something that affects all cadres of sports all over the world. Are we ever going to get to a point where we are going to be like right now we have the right sports administrators running our sports affairs?
I think it's a dilemma around the world that we don't have the required transparency and integrity in sports management among the administrators, and also it's a reality, but I think we need better management, we need better administrators, we need better governance to change the sports industry globally. And unfortunately, we have seen this issue in international organizations, but if I talk particularly about my country or my region, even South Asia, I can talk about India also. Things are very bad. We have extreme corruption, and maybe because we don't have, as Kenaz said, we also don't have sports management degrees in universities. We only have physical education, and they just joined the title with sports sciences. But it's just physical education. We are still living in that era. If you see developing countries, they have multiple degrees under sports. So I am bringing first sports management certification in Pakistan, like we are introducing it in coming months. But it's very important that capable people will sit on sports administrator seats. If you will not bring them in, it's not going to change. Even among our classmates from DTM, people are working around the world in all continents almost. So, but they are not getting space in the system, in the exec system. Just imagine they don't need the qualified people to sit on the sports administrator seats because they have their benefits, they are doing corruption, they have nothing to do with sports, they have personal interests. Here in Pakistan also, there is kind of a mafia in sports industry. They won't let you in at any cost, and they don't want to change anything. But I still believe we can change things. We can really do it. Our prime minister is a former sports man, so he has a vision to change sports industry. But I also believe, like the young people, we can change things together in future, and for that we need to think differently. I am also teaching in a university here, and the undergrad students, they have no idea what is governance. It's not in their syllabus. So if you don't teach a physical education administrator what is governance and what is management, it's going to be worse. But I am still hopeful we can change it.
Strong words there from Umair. Maybe as we finish this whole conversation about the future of sports beyond COVID-19, Gobinath, maybe we may not have an opportunity to talk again about the issue of Olympics that is coming up in the year 2021. Maybe what can we expect from Sri Lanka? What's your prediction? Should we get Sri Lankan shirts to start celebrating for you guys?
Sorry, come again?
I'm saying we might not have time to probably talk about the Olympics that are coming up. Maybe as we wrap up this conversation, I mean, what do you expect from? What should we expect from Sri Lanka heading into the Olympics?
Yeah, that's a very critical question. Like as I told you before, right, we have one athlete to be qualified for judo, and another one is from gymnastics. Like hopefully both of them will be qualified for the Olympic Games. We hope that, like, still the qualification rounds are not finished yet. And apart from that, swimming, one athlete who is now residing in USA, and another couple of athletes might be going in a wild card, so that maybe like we will have like maximum of 5 to 6 athletes from representing Sri Lanka. That is how like every times we are having, and we have only 2 medals, Olympic medals so far in the history. One was in 1948 in 400-meter hurdles, and another one is one and only one Olympic medal in Asia by in a sprinting event, that is from Sri Lanka in 200 meters in Sydney Olympic Games. Very fortunately, Mariam Jones was charged with the doping in the same event, so that's why Sri Lankan athletes became the second. So we have only 2. So that athlete is still living in Sri Lanka, so because now she is, I think, almost 45-50 years old. She is supporting, and she is our high performance director as well. So that is how this Olympic Games is. But according to this latest news, the Tokyo 2020 will be held as it's rescheduled to 2021 in July, August. But we don't know that how they are going to get the spectators, but they are saying that they will get some minimum number of spectators from all the countries. I also bought the ticket from my own pocket, but still I didn't cancel that one. Hope to go there to meet my friends from around the world and enjoy the Olympic Games. So hopefully the situation will get back to normal by July 2021.
Okay, so I wish you all the best in the Olympics. Now, guys, thank you so much for finding time to talk to me on Metropole Sports Center. I think this is going to be the first of many that you're going to be having, talking about the issue of sports management. Thank you so much for finding time to be on the show. Well, that wraps up the edition, the special 2-part series on Metropole Sports Center on the future of sports the future of sports beyond COVID-19. Well, that's all the time that we had for you tonight. Do wish you a fantastic weekend. See you next week, same place, same time.